Good afternoon. Let me just make sure that I am going live here. Looks like I am good to go. All right. Good afternoon. Give it just a moment here. See if anybody's going to join. Happy Wednesday. It is still trying to rain on the East Coast. I think we're stuck in a weather pattern here for a bit. And so we've been getting light rain on and off. Over the weekend, it rained the entire weekend. What fun. Okay. Let me go ahead and get started. Carol Buckalew with Inky Bee Stampers. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. Akiko, thanks so much for joining. Glad you're here. I have another card today from the Cheerful Daisies, stamp set and dies. Yeah, Rainy, where you are too. We're not too far away from each other, Akiko. Hey, Mary, thanks so much for joining. So I can't seem to stay away from the Cheerful Daisies bundle. I just love it so much. I love the paper, the images, all of it. But this is the stamp set that I used. I also, on my card today, used the Cane Weave 3D embossing folder, which is awesome for texture. And then, of course, I used the dies as well. Oh, thank you, Akiko. Appreciate that. So very little stamping. And this is an all-occasion card. And every once in a while, I will make a card without any sentiments at all. And that's one of those cards, or this card is one of those cards. I could always add a sentiment later for whatever occasion I may need the card for, you know, and put it on the outside here. Maybe down here it would work well, or maybe up here kind of slanted. But, you know, this just gives you the versatility. If you're making cards ahead of time, you know, it's just nice to have these kinds of cards around, so that when you need a card for a certain occasion, you've got one. So let me just get very little stamping today. Let me get that out of the way, and then we can go ahead and pretty much put the card together, because I did do some pre-die cutting. This is for a card challenge for the Happy Ink and Thursday blog hop tomorrow. And it is a color challenge to use all 5 of the new ink colors. We have to pick at least 3. I managed to squeeze all 5 colors into my card today for the hop tomorrow. Hey, Faith, thanks so much for joining. So this is my inside panel and my envelope front. And this is the extent of the stamping today. And I'm just going to stamp the half daisy image in wild wheat. And lots of debate about this color, but I tell you, the more I use it, the more I like it. It is such a pretty neutral. It is going to make a great fall color, you know, when the time comes to make fall themed cards. But yeah, and it does. You can see that looks very dark, but this will lighten up as the ink dries. And that is our half daisy. And then I'm going to stamp the center of the daisy in copper clay, which is also one of our new 2023 to 2025 ink colors. And I always have to figure out what the top is on this stamp. I kind of have trouble. There we go. That looks like, I think I have it turned the right way. We'll see here. There we go. Put our envelope aside and get this stamped on our inside panel. There we go. And that is pretty much it. Now I did stamp one other thing for the card, and that was a flower center for the front of the card. And that was stamped in copper clay onto copper clay cardstock. So let me see here. I feel like I'm missing something. There we go. I'm going to go ahead and just get my inside panel put into the card, and then I don't have to worry about it. But I think we'll be done early today. So I lickety-split yesterday morning, ordered up all of the paper for my paper shares, and the UPS guy dropped that off bright and early this morning. I was thrilled about that, and I actually was able to start cutting up my paper for my paper shares early this morning, and I'll be able to get everything to the post office tomorrow morning. So I'm super excited about how quickly it came. And as a demonstrator, we can only usually pre-order certain kinds of paper, or certain sets. And so I've not seen all of the papers in person. I've seen them in the catalog, but not in person. And ooh, they're so pretty. So yeah, I'm looking forward to playing with all of the pretty new paper. So that's exciting. I have another order coming tomorrow. I hit the overnight button for my paper shares, and that kind of hurts a little bit. That shipping is expensive for overnight, but yeah. So for my stuff, additional things I ordered, I hit the 2-day shipping, so that it should be here tomorrow. So that's good. And I'm going to add to my card front. This is a piece of the Fresh as a Daisy Designer Series paper. Beautiful paper, but this is cut from a panel that has the multiple panels on one sheet of 12 by 12. And I'm using the reverse side here. And this is in Moody Mauve. I don't know if you can see that. Really pretty. This is a pretty color, this Moody Mauve. Yeah, Faith, when you hit that overnight button, it usually comes pretty quickly, and it's priority. So, gosh, he was here. I think the UPS guy, came around 9:30 or so. It was pretty early in the morning. So let me just get this glued up here. So I have a 5 3/8 panel of this DSP, 5 3/8 by 4 1/8, and that is getting adhered to my card front. And then this is the panel of boho blue that I embossed with the Cane Weave 3D embossing folder. And I love the texture on this embossing folder. It is just so darn pretty. Before I put this on my card front, though, I do want to build out a little bit my daisies and get those stuck to the card before I stick that panel down. So I have a couple little things here. So in the die set, let me grab the die set. So in the die set, there is a large image, and it has 3 daisies and a couple of leaves to that image. And I die cut that in wild wheat. And then I die cut, for each of these 3 daisies on this larger die set, there are individual daisies that actually will fit over these three flowers on the bigger die, which is super handy. And then the outlines I didn't use for this card. So I've got the, kind of the detail petal dies here, here, and here, and I cut all of those. And as I mentioned, I cut out a large flower center, and I stamped that in copper clay on copper clay cardstock, so I have that pre-cut as well. I cut 2 small flower centers just out of copper clay cardstock, and then I cut 3 of these, excuse me, I'm still nasally, I'm still fighting this. I cut out 3 of these pretty leaf sprigs, and 2 were cut in from Pebbled Path cardstock and 1 in copper clay. I'm looking at my card to see what the color was, but those are the dies that I used for today. So I've got all my pieces here and my large flower center. And I think I'm going to go ahead and just build my flower here right on my embossed panel. Just getting all my little pieces out here. Probably hard to see, but that is the copper clay flower center stamped with copper clay ink. And just to, now these are, if you look at my card, you clearly see the flower center on the half daisy. But what I chose to do is to adhere my flower centers for the other 2 daisies down on top of the big die cut, and then I put the petals detail over top of that. So they still peek through. But what I did was I took the dark shade of a copper clay Stampin' Blend, and on these small daisies, I'm just going to kind of shadow around the bottom, just a little bit, and just kind of, you know how the little flower centers kind of just have little dots. I'm just going to add some little dots to them. And whoops, didn't mean to cap up my pen so quickly. And I'm going to do that on this one as well. And then I am going to use my color lifter to blend that out just a smidgen. And they're so tiny, you know, you could certainly skip this step if you wanted to, but I'm a glutton for punishment sometimes. I don't mind doing it all. Now, this is darkening the whole thing, but it will blend it out some. So we'll see what it looks like when it dries. Yeah, so I started cutting paper, I think at around 10:30 this morning, and I don't have too much more to go. So I'm in good shape with that. I should definitely have those out in the mail tomorrow, so that'll be good. That'll be good. I'm going to go ahead and get my my daisy, the large daisy die cut, adhered. Hey Karen, thanks so much for joining. Did you get any rain yet, Karen? We may be getting all your rain where I am. I'll tell you, it's been quite dreary. And I'm trying to keep this glue sort of toward the center, because I'm going to be tucking in those leaf sprigs around around these daisies. So I don't want to, you know, limit myself there on where I can tuck those flowers in. And I'm just going to try and center this as best I can, kind of top to bottom and left to right, and get that stuck down. And I'm going to need to hold this just for a second. With the texture, takes a little bit for that glue to hold, since you're dealing kind of with those bumps in the embossing. I think we're good though. Okay. Well, let me go ahead and get my flower centers put on. And I think that one goes kind of like that. And like I mentioned, I'm putting the flower centers on before I add the detailed petals. Just kind of like the look of it. But you can certainly do, you can do you when you make your card. I love this half daisy. I think it is so sweet. I obviously love this set. I think this is about the 5th card that I have made with this set. I just love it so much. I'm running out of paper. And we'll get this last one adhered on, and this one's going to be covered up the most, so it really doesn't matter kind of how that gets positioned on there. Let me just hold that down for a beat, make sure everything's stuck down. All right, I think that is good, and I can go ahead and get these kind of detailed flowers adhered on. And just so you know, these do fit. You know, you'll have to get them turned the right way, but they do actually, let me see here, do I have it like that? Okay. So I don't know if you can see that, but that is lined up. Yeah, I think the daisy set probably is a favorite of a lot of people's. It's just so cheerful, and honestly, you can just get a ton of colorways out of this set. You know, I feel like I haven't even tapped in to all of the options with this set, color-wise. And if you don't get those petals lined up exactly, I don't think it's a big deal. I am trying to get them somewhat lined up here. Let me see here, how does that go? So this one goes, does it go like that? Goes like that. Okay. So I mentioned that we had a lot of rain over the weekend, and our sump pump stopped working. And so we had a lot of water in our basement. It didn't flood the whole basement, fortunately. We still have fans down there running. My husband on Monday took off and, you know, got a new sump pump installed and all that good stuff. But it's just a mess when you're dealing with water, just a mess. No fun. We were lucky, though, that we caught it before it flooded the entire room. We do have, yeah, thank you, Akiko. We do have a finished basement down there. Part of it is finished, and it would have been a real mess if all that carpet had gotten wet and drywall and all that. Fortunately, it just started coming in up around the sides of the French drain, so we were able to catch it. So, lucky, lucky. Okay, so those are our daisies, and aren't they pretty against the blue? Love those against the boho blue. What I'm going to do now is I've got here some gray baker's twine. I am going to just apply a small amount of, I don't know, come out up maybe about an inch from the bottom of the card panel. Let me make sure I had it turned right. I do. And I am just going to put a couple little strips here of Stampin' Seal and adhere one of my ends. Hey, Mom, thanks so much for joining. Adhere one of my twine ends to that Stampin' Seal, and I'm just going to wrap this twine around my card about 3 times. And I think that probably looks good. Get my scissors here and cut this off. And then we can go ahead and get, isn't it pretty on the wild wheat is pretty on the boho blue. Faith, I think we're converting you to wild wheat. I usually use half dimensionals, and I didn't have any cut up, and so I'm using whole ones today on my card. I wonder if I think it'll be all right. Let's get this adhered to our card front. Yeah, it's really starting to grow on me too, Mary. The wild wheat. Wasn't too sure about it. It'll make a great leaf color too, I think. All right. Make sure my card is facing the right direction here. And I am going to do my best to get this centered top to bottom and left to right. And that looks pretty good. All right. And then really all we have left to do, I've got a little bit more bow tying to do, but really all I have left to do is to kind of tuck these little leaf sprigs in around the daisies. And just, you know, you just want to be careful that you're late to the party. No, you're not. No, you're not. You just want to be careful when you're adhering these. You don't want them to extend above, you know, or extend past the outer edges of your card. And I usually only apply glue to just kind of the bottom half. I always like my leaf sprigs to kind of be fluffy on the ends, if you will. And let's just get that tucked in under there. Give it a little press. Alrighty. And I think I want to put one, you know, and these are totally trimmable, these leaf sprigs. If you're having trouble, don't struggle with it. Just get your scissors out and give them a snip. And I think I want that one to kind of sit there. We had one of the dogs to the vet last night. She was due for a checkup. And the time before the vet, she'd gained a little bit of weight. So we've been cutting back her feed. So she lost 0.4 pounds. So we still have a little more work to do. Poor Maisie. She's still going to be on a diet. And then the last one I would like to tuck kind of up in here. Just watch your edge there. Let me see here. Is that about how I had it? I think that's about how I had it. And we'll get this last one tucked in here. Yeah, Maisie's not a big food hound, surprisingly. Like, it's not like they get a ton of treats. They do get treats, but not, you know, not all day long. And really not sure why. Give that just a press here for a minute. And if you noticed, I kind of brought that leaf sprig over top of the daisy petals. I just like the look of it. I see some stray dots of glue here. And I find that with my tweezers, if I use the side edge of my tweezers just to push that glue back towards the die cut, that works really well. Okay, I think that is good. And I am just going to get a length here, 2 lengths of my twine, my gray twine. And I left my twine curly. You know, if you pull the twine between your fingers, you can get it to straighten out. But I left the twine kind of curly on my card. I like the look of it. And I am just going to attempt here to tie a double bow. We'll see how I do. Of course, the curly ends make it a little challenging. And I want it off to the side here. But I just slip that twine under my wrap twine. And there we go. And let me find my ends. Pull that bow in just a smidge. And there we go. I like that. I think I'm just going to trim these little ends off just a tad. And we are just about done. Easy peasy. What do I want here? These are the 2023-2025 in color dots. Oh, thank you, Faith. Appreciate it. And I am just going to put some copper clay. I think this is like one of my most favorite new colors. I don't know. It's a toss-up between copper clay and Lost Lagoon and Pretty Peacock because I love those colors too. But I'm just going to stick a few of these here on my card front, if I can pick them up. They're not cooperating. Yep. There we go. Let's put one right there. And I get another medium-sized one. Come on. Whoops. He's jumping. He's trying to jump ship. And let's put one down here. And they just add a pretty touch to the card, I think. So that is the card. And all that is left to do here is to put some DSP. I ran out of the Moody Mauve DSP. I didn't have enough to do my envelope flap. So this is in Wild Wheat. It will be equally as pretty on our envelope flap. Thank you, Akiko. Get this put on. So if you're not aware, the 2023 to 2024 annual catalog is now live, open for customer orders. Be sure you go and check it out. I've been dropping links on my website, on my blog post each day, www.inkybstampers.com. Thank you, Mary. Appreciate it. So be sure to check out all the new goodies because there's lots of new goodies and they're pretty wonderful. I can't wait to get my package tomorrow. I did a pre-order, but I ordered some more things, some new sets, some new suites coming. So be on the lookout for those projects coming up. It's always fun to play with new products, for sure. I am also right now offering double Honey Drop points. That's part of my Honeybee Rewards program. And once you collect 16 points, you get free merchandise valued up to $40 from me. So you'll want to check out the details on my website about the double points offer right now. I have it running through May 12th. And for every $25 you spend, you normally would get one Honey Drop point. But right now I'm offering 2 Honey Drop points for every 25 you spend. So you can accumulate points quickly doing that. And get some free stuff. Free is always good. And that is my card for today. All done. And I think maybe record time. What time is it? Yeah, record time. Got a few minutes to spare. So there we go. Cheerful Daisies bundle and Fresh as a Daisy 12 by 12 designer series paper. Hope you enjoyed. Have a wonderful rest of the day. And I will see you all back next Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern. Have a great day, everybody. Bye-bye. Thank you.